A warm, spiced, sweet, and chocolatey beverage makes everything better. I don't know about you, but for me, a cup of warm, spiced cocoa hits the spot when the temps get cooler and the holiday season approaches. I'm happy to share the gingerbread hot cocoa recipe I've been making and giving away as gifts during the holidays for years. That's right. Make this large batch, divide it, package it, tie on a bow, and give it away to your family and friends. All they need to add is water. Let's check it out. For the ingredients, you'll need granulated sugar, powdered sugar, cocoa powder, and gingerbread spice. You can use my homemade gingerbread spice or pumpkin or apple pie spice and ginger. I'll explain the spices later. You'll also need instant milk powder. You can use coconut powder if you're vegan, then salt and chocolate chips. To a sifter or a large mesh strainer over a large bowl, we're going to sift all of our dry ingredients except for the chocolate chips because they can't be sifted, right? So with the strainer over the bowl, we're going to add 300 grams, which is 1.5 cups of granulated sugar, and I'm using super fine here just so that it melts more quickly and easily. And notice how the sugar just went right through the sifter because that's a super fine one, but you could just use regular sugar. Then we're going to add 60 grams, which is 1/2 cup of powdered sugar, 60 grams, 1/2 cup of cocoa powder or cacao powder, whatever you have. Cacao powder seems to be like the whole bean. Cocoa powder is not the whole bean. Then we're going to add 8 grams, which is 1 tablespoon plus 1 teaspoon of my gingerbread spice. I have my gingerbread spice recipe linked in the description below the video. However, I have made this hot chocolate many times using 5 grams, which is 2.5 teaspoons of either pumpkin pie or apple pie spice, but then you need to add 3 grams or 1.5 teaspoons of ground ginger. So those combined or my gingerbread spice, perfect for this recipe. Then we're gonna add 75 grams, which is 3/4 cup of instant powdered milk. If you're vegan, you can find lactose-free or coconut powdered milk on Amazon. So you can still make this recipe if you're vegan. Just look for a vegan powdered milk. They're available. And then lastly, we're gonna add 1/8 teaspoon, which is just 1/2 gram of salt. Always add a pinch of salt to anything sweet. And we're just going to sift everything through the sifter. And we're doing this so that we can make sure all of the lumps are broken up. You can see I have quite a few milk lumps left behind. So I'm just gonna break those up, and then whatever's left in the sifter, I'll just put in with the mix. So if you're using regular cane sugar, you're gonna have quite a bit of sugar left. That's all right. Just break up any extra larger pieces, and any small pieces that remain, it's okay. Just add them back to the mix. We know that all the big pieces are broken up, and that's what matters. And then just give it a quick stir so that we've got our sugar that's hanging out at the bottom mixed in with the rest of it. Now with all of those pieces broken up, look how store-bought this looks. You know, everything is cohesive. You don't see any white specks from the milk or the powdered sugar or the granulated sugar. The cocoa is well dispersed. That's why we used the sifter first and then went back and mixed it with the whisk. It just cleans it up. Okay, the last ingredient we're gonna add is just the indulgent one. It's the chocolate chips. These are a little too big to add to our mix because then they'll just sink to the bottom and it'd be hard for people to get chocolate chips actually in their hot chocolate, right? So we're gonna break them up a little bit. So I'm adding 120 grams, which is 3/4 cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips. That's my preferred sweetness. You can choose whatever you want. We're gonna blend this up until the pieces are broken up into little tiny pieces. Okay, we're blending this to it's almost like cornmeal consistency or polenta consistency. So take a look. The pieces are no longer those big chunks. They look like crumbs. That's the size that we want so that it blends up well in our mixture. Now we're just gonna add these chocolate pieces to the large bowl with our powder mixture. And with them in, we're just going to, again, whisk it together. We want those chocolate pieces mixed in with the powder and the powder to coat those chocolate pieces so that we have an even distribution of all the ingredients. So when you make this for your family or your friends or you give it away as gifts, they have a little bit of everything in every little sip of their hot chocolate. Okay, take a look at the powder mix. It's again that cohesive. You can see the little pieces of chocolate. They're all nice and coated with the powder mix. So make a perfect hot chocolate. Then you're just going to scoop the mixture into an airtight container, and then you'll just store it at room temperature. And this makes quite a bit. It's like 16 servings, so you'll want to have a big enough space or container to put your mix in. And then what I do is I label my lid, or you can label the jar, and I just use a dry erase marker for that. But then my jars are kind of small, so I'm gonna have 2 jars here, but if you have one large jar, that'd be good enough. So then, if you're looking for holiday gifts, you can make this mixture months ahead of time, store it in containers in your pantry, and then at holiday time, divide the mixture up into however you see fit. You can add it to decorative bags or tins, and then you have gifts available to give to anyone that you want, family, friends. They'll love this mixture. Okay, so now I have gingerbread mix ready for me, my family, or our friends, or to give as gifts when it's time. If you're giving this away of gifts, you'll want to add a tag to the jar or the tin to tell your receivers what to put, how to make their hot chocolate. So you want to start with 1 up to 3 tablespoons. You might want 4 of the mix. Then you'll add 8 ounces of water. Now you could use milk to make it richer. It's up to you. It already has dairy in it, but it is non-fat dairy. So if you use full fat dairy powder, or you could encourage your receivers of the gift to use milk. It's whatever they want. So we're gonna add that water. We're going with water today. And I want you to see, this is what it looks like when it's mixed with water here. Okay, so a little bit of our spice is floating in, particularly the nutmeg, because that's what's fresh. So let's add a little bit of decor to make it even prettier. So I made some fresh whipped cream. So we'll dollop a little bit of that on there too. Nothing like fresh whipped cream. And because we have gingerbread spice here, you can also add pumpkin pie spice or apple pie spice and just top your cream with the spice that's in the mix. And there you have your gingerbread hot cocoa. Gingerbread hot cocoa mix is a true holiday treat. Add a little extra cream and spice to the top, or marshmallows. You can't beat that during the winter holidays. It's nice and warm. Heat-wise, it's warm. Also spice-wise, it's warm. I can taste a little bit of the ginger. It is gingerbread. Definitely the cinnamon. And the chocolate just is exactly what you expect. So if you're looking for a different take on a hot chocolate recipe and you like a little spice, this is a great one. I encourage you to try it. Thanks for watching, liking, and subscribing. Until next time, make some gingerbread hot cocoa and go bake the world.